G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game. We are here watching some Empire Wars as Justified spawns in on this west corner, playing as the English in the colour teal. I tried to zoom in then, but as you guys know, this is the pup, and we can't zoom in on the pup. A little bit of a brief intermission from the Outback Octagon content at the moment. I hope you guys are enjoying it. And both of these guys actually showed up to the Outback Octagon. I saw them both in the chat. Well, actually, to be fair, Justified didn't come in the chat, but Grigor came in the chat and confirmed Justified was watching. So anyway, over on the east side of the map, we've got Grigor, who plays in the green as the Delhi Sultanate. And of course, this is Empire Wars, so expect to see those age ups. There we go, already coming through, 42 seconds. Not a bad little time here for Grigor. Going to be going into the Tower of Victory. Now, let's talk a little bit about Empire Wars, about the good things, about the bad things. Now, good thing, you get into the game real quickly. I like that a lot. I really like the fact that you can just straight away begin your action early on in the game. Bad things, this Man-at-Arms would technically be a lot earlier in a non-Empire Wars game. Now, what do I mean by that? Now, obviously, the in-game timer is going to be roughly the same for these Men-at-Arms, but the difference is going to be the relative position of your enemy. And we can see right now that as the Men-at-Arms come out, typically the Delhi player would barely have enough gold to be going to Feudal as these Men-at-Arms are hitting. Yet here, the reality is that Grigor is well and truly up towards that castle age. He's got plenty of resources in the bank. And I'm a little bit worried about Justified because I think that realistically, you could probably just go for like a stable opening. Definitely wouldn't do a double stable opening because you don't need the double stable simply because you've got the mosque. You can just throw the scholars in, get that imperial, I was going to say the improved production. Is it improved production? I can't remember exactly what it's called, but you're up against Men-at-Arms here, so I feel like it's just so natural to go, wait, he's just going to go double archery range? Okay, all right, I respect it. Double archery range, double blacksmith. So here, keep in mind, the Men-at-Arms have got the 3 armor. Your archers have got 5 damage. So with the +1, that's going to take them up to +6. Or not, with the +1, it's going to take them up to 6 damage. So they're going to be doing 50% of their damage, or 50% of the damage that they've got to those Men-at-Arms. So not terrible, to be honest. Definitely a lot better than, say, something like the Jukunu, which is 4 up to 5. I guess a lot better than a civilization that doesn't go for those early blacksmith upgrades. And we do see now Justified going to be heading back towards his home already with the tail between the legs, even though he really didn't do anything at this stage in the game. And 2 barracks opening, very aggressive opening coming out from Justified. You can see now those Men-at-Arms numbers beginning to build. So I'm curious what type of style he looks to play. Does he go to Castle Age? Because that could definitely be an option for him. Does he look to play it around in Feudal Age a little bit longer? And Blacksmith coming down immediately. So I absolutely love Empire Wars. I know that I've mentioned it before. I'm a really big fan of it, and we've just received brand new news today from the devs that they're going to be extending out the pup for a little bit longer. So I think it gets extended out by like 3 or 4 days, which is pretty exciting because for me, just coming off the Outback Octagon, obviously, for anybody wondering, like we're in the past now. You know, I've casted the Outback Octagon. I'm not going to tell you who won. I'm not going to tell you who lost, all that kind of stuff, and the videos will get uploaded to YouTube eventually. But you know, I'm looking forward because you know, I'm thinking maybe we do a little something. Anyway, we'll keep you guys aware. We'll see how we go. But take a look at this. We've already got Spearman coming out. Interesting decision from Justified. I don't know whether he spotted out the archers from his enemy, but Grigor's got to be careful. Grigor running into death right now. Grigor, you got to head yourself back the other direction, my friend. And indeed he does. And apologies in advance to our colorblind friends out there. Green on teal, never a fun fight to watch, but I mean, it could be worse, actually. Yeah, it could be worse. You could have like you could have red on pink. Red on orange is pretty tough to tell as well. But you know, I would really love to see that, you know, even in 1v1s, you can only choose from 4 colors, and the enemy can only choose from 4 colors. That would be. But then it's like, oh man, I can't get my yellow this game. Damn. You know, like maybe not. Maybe the first one to choose gets their color, and then the other person has to choose the other temperature. But never mind that. We've got our upgrades just about to come through. You can see that +5, or we've got 5 damage, whereas 4 armor already through on those Men-at-Arms. So Grigor going to be struggling here. Now, one thing to note is that the Delhi Sultanate's new unit, the Ghazi Raider, gets a massive bonus against Men-at-Arms. So I find it a little bit curious that Grigor's just going into mass archers. And take a look how many archers he's got queued up. He's triple archery range, going full archers in this position. And there might be a good reason why he's doing this. So, moving into longbows, you'd think, okay, the Ghazi Raider is going to be good. Yeah, it is. But it gets countered pretty hard by the Spearman. Whereas there is a theory that basically says if you build up enough archers, you don't need to worry about the English player in the feudal age. Essentially, the theory goes this. If the English player plays longbow, well, that's fine. You're just going to use your movement speed advantage to get on top of them, and then you're going to kill them. If they go for spearmen, well, obviously the spearmen are just going to get countered. And if they go for men-at-arms, you're going to build up a mass that's big enough that you can actually just two-shot them. So you can see right now, 4 armor on these men-at-arms compared to the 6 damage, which means 2 damage a shot, 120 health means 60 damage to 2-shot, or 60 to 1-shot, 30 to 2-shot. So you can get to 30 archers pretty quickly. We can see right now 23 archers for Grigor. So he'll be looking to 2-shot these bad boys very quickly. And I think that's probably the thinking behind his decision here. That makes some pretty good sense to me. And I'm liking the opening from him so far, but we do see a bit of a delay in those sacred sites. You know, one of the things we often talk about as the Delhi Sultanate, you want to get out onto the map, you want to start taking those sacred sites immediately. Grigor's got to be careful not to push out before he reaches that critical mass. Remember, and you don't want to be attack moving here against these men-at-arms. You can see him now picking off a couple of them, but not really focusing them down. You really want to try and focus them down. And now we can see Justify immediately becoming aware of those sacred sites being captured. And we can see one in the north being captured. Outpost going to be going down on it. Sacred site in the center going to be coming down. And look at this, a smart move. This is exactly the way that you want to play it for Grigor. So the damage dealers here are not going to be the men-at-arms. The damage dealers are the longbows. So you want to be chasing after these longbows and trying to deal with them. So second sacred site going to be taken. Down in the bottom, we are seeing the third sacred site taken. Now, I will remind you guys, the Justify is a very good player. Conqueror, not just Conqueror 3, right? Conqueror 3 is like top 200 or something like that. He is, I think, top 60. He is a really, really good player. So I expect a big response coming out from Justify now. You know, it has been said about Justify that he is not Justify. He is indeed a 10. And that is rare. You know, it is rare to come by a 10 these days. I'll say that. I mean, with the exception of my wife, there is very few 10s out there. But Justify is one of them, in addition to being a 5. But oh, look at that. What a sweet guy out here. Big Drongo shouting out his wife. Letting everybody know Drongo somehow managed to get himself a dime. Look at that. Look at that. I mean, to be fair, I'm sure every man thinks that his wife is a dime. But, you know, I'm not going to undersell my wife. She's absolutely gorgeous. Watch out, fellas. Anyway, numbers are continuing to build here. We see 23 archers. It's interesting that actually, I said the numbers are continuing to build. They're not really, right? Like, he's up to 4 archery ranges. You can see he's going mass archers right now. This is a bit of an interesting decision from Grigor. But I feel like it's working. He's doing quite a good job of keeping Justify down at the moment. Up towards the north side, it looks like the sacred site will be starting to get neutralized. Doesn't have the arrow slits on the outpost. Nothing contesting the sacred site either. And the numbers, look for Grigor. I mean, they're going up. They're going up. I say that, but every single time I click on it, it's like between 22, 23 archers and horsemen now going to be coming out. For anybody thinking horsemen, well, English don't make horsemen, so you don't need to worry about that. So a lot of these units are rallied across the map here. I'm curious as to whether Grigor decides, okay, well, I guess we can make some spears. There's the Ghazi Raiders finally going to be coming out. And I can't help but feel these are massively going to turn the tide. He's already got +1 ranged armor. In fact, he's got all of his +1 upgrades. And the Ghazi Raider, of course, gets that bonus damage against ranged units, also gets bonus damage against heavy units, so does incredibly well against both of these units that are coming out from the English. So Grigor going to be having an absolute blast here. I mean, Justify wonderfully taking those sacred sites off Grigor. He's just having a bit of a tough time. Nice little raid coming through as well. You can see the difference now between these two players. Obviously, Grigor, a very good player as well, but Justify, one of those top-level Conk 3 players, just got that multitasking ability down really, really well. We'll switch it over now to the income per minute so you guys can get a bit of an idea as to where these guys compare. At the moment, we don't have a villager killed in this game, so neither player has taken out a villager. But one thing to note is that Grigor has lost the sacred site. So he held the sacred sites, but then he lost the sacred sites. And I can't help but feel this is a little bit of a mistake from him. He's got the resources in the bank to do it. I would love to just see some nice walls coming up here. Just some really cheap walls, maybe 100 wood. And then send an archer or 2 down here, start walling up this sacred site, and you could do the same towards the north side. And we do see he's doing that, but the archers are going to be moving back. So, yeah, it's one of those things where it would have definitely helped out earlier, but now it starts to feel a little bit too late. English power spike is coming online. They're starting to make those horsemen. Even though we talked about the fact that they don't really make horsemen, the English, it seems like it might be the case here that they do. Obviously, when you're dealing with this many archers, it just kind of makes sense. Grigor up to 32 archers now. The Ghazi Raider's going to be coming out. Got to be careful of those spears. Managed to get pinched. Nice little skewer. He's using the cover of the stealth forest pretty effectively here. Now we see the horsemen continuing to hit on that top side. Ghazi Raid is going to be able to take effective fights against everything here. And I tell you what, I'm actually loving the Delhi. You know, I said I'd be a Mongol main, but maybe there's a part of me that wants to be a Delhi main. The Ghazi Raider in particular is just an absolutely awesome unit. Numbers looking pretty decent here for Justified. He's going to try and hold on, but you can see they're starting to build back up for Grigor. Look at the reinforcements coming in. Ghazi Raid is getting on top, trying to force out a little bit of micro from Justified. He can try and take down these archers, or he can deal with the front line, the Ghazi Raiders. That looks like he's going to try and focus down the majority of these cavalry units, but it looks like Grigor does hold. Sacred Site in the north has been taken once again, and I feel like once again I need to really state how much I am loving these Empire War games. It just feels like it's action non-stop. Maybe it's just Justified and Grigor. They're just constantly fighting against each other. You know, maybe in real life they're best friends, but in Age of Empires 4 they are enemies. They are staunch enemies, and they just fight to the death every single time. But I'll be honest, man, I'm having a blast casting these games. I'm curious what you think about it, though. Let me know in the comments. Would you like to see more Empire Wars? I know that when we were casting the Outback Octagon, there was definitely a lot of people in the chat saying more Empire Wars. But now starting to push through. We can see these archer numbers really starting to build. He's bringing up scholars as well for the heals, we can see. But he's managing to pick off the scholars on the back line. Look at this. It could be a little bit of, I would say a little bit of a bait. But it's not really, because he didn't go to Dome of the Faith, right? These are expensive scholars. That's 130 gold. And look at the numbers now. Justified might be in a little bit of trouble here. Goes for another raid out over on this east side. Grigor's going to be picking it up. And on the defensive, we see the King's Palace going to be coming down. King's Palace is going to be the difference maker here, because all that Justified is going to need to do is throw down, well, he's already got his stables down. Maybe throw down another 2 stables and just go spamming knights. Just spam knights and you win the game. Now, the reason why you win if you spam knights in this position is because the Delhi player doesn't have any barracks. So the Delhi player, as soon as you age up, if they're on the ball, they're going to drop barracks immediately, because they will know, okay, this is an immediate threat. You're just going to go into knights. The problem is, a lot of people will wait until they see knights before they make the barracks, because they've been dealing with horsemen so far, and so as an example, or as a result, they can just take them out with the archers. The problem is you can't take knights out with the archers. They've got way too much damage for you, and they will kill you very quickly, not to mention the armor. They've got an extra couple points of ranged armor. So we see all 3 sacred sites taken, but there's a part of me that says it doesn't even matter at this point. Justified macro off a little bit here. Did he use his Goldvilles to age up? He might have used the Goldvilles to age up. Yeah, it looks like he has. So we do now see him beginning to make those knights. Not a lot of stables, though. Ideally, I would have loved to have seen another 2 stables thrown down here. You can see the macro slightly off, but he'll work it out. He'll work it out. Don't worry. Calm down, Drongo. It's okay. Look at this message on my screen. He reached Castle Age. How is that just going to stay there forever? Jeez, 53 seconds. That a knight takes 35 seconds. That was at 3 seconds. That literally stayed on my screen for 30 seconds. That Justified has reached the Castle Age. That is insane, man. Somebody needs to nerf those notifications. Let's hope that the update that comes through on the pup nerfs those notifications, because they are ludicrous. All right, Men-at-Arms pushing out. They get their upgrade for Castle Age as well. So now you're really in a bit of trouble here. Full armored units. Grigor probably not realizing the threat of those armored units, yet to look at aging up. He's got the resources pretty close to it, and he's trying to focus down these knights on the front line. Ghazi Raid is going to be coming in, trying to deal with it. Keep in mind, these guys have got that extra damage against heavy units, as well as a little bit extra damage over the top of the horsemen, even though they look very similar to a horseman. And the battering rams start to work down each of those stables. More barracks get thrown down behind this. You can see slowly but steadily, Grigor's numbers are beginning to dwindle. He's having trouble dealing with all of these armored units at the same time. The ranged units on the backside just teeing off towards it, and it's starting to look a little bit worrisome for Grigor. Now, Grigor should be going up to Castle Age behind this. The problem is he's lost a lot of his mass here, and with losing your mass really means that you're not able to fend off your enemy. You're not able to kite them across the map, which is what you want to be doing with archers. You want to be kiting the whole time. He's managed to hold 2 of the sacred sites, did lose the 3rd one down here to a horseman, so great work from Justified to be able to do that. But we see plenty of men-at-arms coming out now. Ville's going to get pulled here, dealing with that battering ram, saying, get out, go on, get. And where is that Castle Age from Grigor? Grigor needs to hit that Castle Age. Having a little bit of trouble with regard to his food income at the moment. Might have to think about moving over to farms. I mean, we're 14 minutes into the game. There should be plenty of food out on the map here for him still. He's got deer. He's got berries in the back. He's just got an absence of villagers there. He's managed to lose 4 this game, but I suspect he probably had a few more than that out there. I don't know what happened over on in that corner. He's down to 530 food a minute. Struggling here to keep the head above water. And you can't help but feel that it is only a matter of time until the upgraded units from our English player begin to overwhelm our Delhi players' units. He's trying his best to hold on. There's the compound of the defender going to be coming down. So he's going to be moving straight into crossbows upon aging up. But keep in mind, you're dealing with longbows, and longbows are already in a really good position. He's got the ability to upgrade them to veterancy, which he's already done. He could be looking for +2 ranged attack, which is going to further make those even better against that. And we see a third blacksmith coming down. I was going to say, excuse me, sir, a third blacksmith in this economy? Grigor, how? How can you justify it, sir? All right, well, we continue. We hold on a little bit longer. Oh, no. Okay, it looks like the compound of the defender should get up here. He will be able to bring all the units down, but Villager's going to get caught out of position. That's 1 dead. That's 2, 3, 4 dead. That's going to be 5 dead. Gets the castle age. Where does he go from here? I suspect he's probably looking to go into knights as well as crossbows. Villager's just running for dear life, and you can see a little bit of a misjudging this. He's lost so many vills here. He's losing double-digit numbers of vills now. And Grigor is falling further and further behind. But do not worry. Do not fear, for he has the ability to get village fortresses. Remember, village fortresses, one of the best unique technologies in the game. If I had to rate village fortresses, it would be S tier. It is that good of a technology. It just synergizes so well with Compound of the Defender, with the ability to train, well, not to train, but to produce, to build, to construct more keeps. It's just such a wonderful technology, but I don't think it's going to be enough. There's way too many men at arms here. The crossbows are finally coming out, and it's just good game. We just lose everything right there off our screen, but it is good game. Grigor taps out, and Justified is victorious. Pretty nice game right there. It was action-packed the whole way through. It looked like Grigor was going to have him early on, but Justified finds the perfect age up. Fellas, thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.